Welcome back to the Fit Dad Club podcast. My name is Travis Jones. I'm here with Jason Barrett with another episode to help you dads out there listening to this get in the best shape of your life, overcome all the setbacks, obstacles, challenges that you may face, and giving you a couple of tips along the way. So tune in today. We are going to talk about the dad energy crisis. Oh, Jay, before we get into that, I want Jace, how you doing, mate?
Doing good, man. I've got my new office is in the backyard and pretty much almost set up. So we're close to being able to move everything in there. You might see a new background in the video of this in a couple of weeks. But no, we kind of started touching on the dad energy crisis as of last week when we sort of talked about having more energy for your kids. I think it's definitely a good one to start to talk about some tactics with it to help you get some more energy as a dad, if that's obviously a big goal for you. How about you, Trav? How are you doing?
No, I'm pretty good, man. Pretty good. I think, as some weeks, I think this is a big thing, right? Some weeks you don't have 100%, right? And I think I have a lot of people out there, and we're talking about energy today. And some weeks you might only have 60%. But I think the biggest thing is when you have 60%, you give 100% of what you have. I think what we fall short is sometimes is because we don't feel 100%, because we're running at a 50% or 60% battery, we just say, we tend to have that all or nothing attitude. So it's like, I don't feel great, so I won't do anything. Or I'll lean on a coping mechanism to make me feel better. So we instead of even taking one step forward or staying stagnant, which is okay sometimes, we take two steps back. So I think I'm running at about 60% with some emotional residue this week, but I'm giving 100% of my 60% each of the days, which at the end of the day still makes me feel like a winner. And I like feeling like a winner. And that might be egotistical, or I just like to think it's confident, and it makes me feel better anyway, so I'm going to stick with it. Today, guys, the dad energy crisis, and we're going to cover 5 different points on this, but I think, and each of them will be a little bit more tactical today, because we want every single dad I talk to, no one says I have too much energy. I've never talked to a dad who says I want less energy, right? Every single one of them I talk to is like, I'm tired, work is tough, the kids are somewhat hard in their own way, in their special, loving own way. We're finding time to work out, I don't have time, whatever it is. And they say, when you say you don't have time, really, it's an energy thing anyway. Be like Arnold Schwarzenegger and just sleep faster. But when we look at this, the first thing is, it's like, why low energy isn't just about sleep. And, what's actually draining you? I think that's a big thing, because a lot of people's like, I don't have energy, I think it's a sleep issue. And yes, sleep is a factor, but it's not the only factor, guys. And I think that's a big thing. It's like, a lot of us have this like chronic low grade fatigue because we're not just tired, we're mentally and physically drained because of poor habits, because of stress, and because of a lack of recovery. And when I talk about the recovery, I'm not telling you to go have an ice bath. I'm telling you, your foot is on the pedal, right? Go all the way down, your foot is on the gas, and you haven't taken it off for ages. And it's down doing poor habits. So it's just constantly wired and tired. And I think that is a big thing when we're looking at it. We're tired, so we lean on alcohol to feel better. We lean on food to feel better. We lean on social media as like quick hits of dopamine to feel better. You could be looking at porn to feel better. Like that's what people do when they're stressed. You could be looking at, drugs to feel better. Like, I don't know what you're doing at the moment, but at the moment, like, we're mentally and physically drained because of poor habits and stress. And I think unless you're looking at positive ways, okay, what are the habits that are taking my energy away? Like, so what are the vacuums? So we look at batteries and vacuums. Vacuums suck our energy and batteries give us energy. So what are the vacuum-based habits that I'm doing at the moment? And a lot of the guys, it is alcohol. Like, I'll talk to some of my guys and we'll decrease the alcohol down from, 6 to 10 beers a night down to 1 to 2. And they're like, oh my gosh, I feel so much better. I was like, who would have thought? But at the same time, they didn't realize the mental fog that they were just carrying because it was such a norm. And then, so it's looking at like what are those vacuum habits that you're currently doing. And it could be pressing snooze. And you're like, oh, but I'm tired, but I press snooze. But you're just going into a poor quality sleep for the next 20 minutes or the next 10 minutes, 20 times when you just keep pressing snooze. So, it could be a lack of movement throughout the day. And we'll get into that as well. But I want you to start to think, it's like, okay, what are my vacuum-based habits? And am I carrying this like stress load. So we have multiple versions of stress. Like we have emotional stress. Okay. So we have emotional stress from our relationship or relationships, like work relationship. I'm not saying you have multiple wives, but you have your partner.
Polygamy.
You have,
That's stressful.
yeah,
You got to
exactly.
hide them all from each other. Fuck, man.
Man, I told that to Liv the other day. I was like, man, like I wouldn't be able to cheat on you. You'd have to like find the woman. You'd have to set the date up for me, and then you have to remind me to go. Just like I just don't have it in me. At the same time, she's like, we were joking around, and she's like, I said, oh, do you want some ice cream? It was a big weekend. You know, Liv's nan passed away, and I was like, you know, do you want to have some ice cream and chill out? Because, you know, and she's like, yeah. She's like, oh, if I gained some weight, you wouldn't leave me anyway, would you? I was like, mate, I don't have the energy to find another wife anyway, so don't worry, you're good. She slapped me.
I'm not going through
Slapped.
I'm
I'm not doing this
through
again.
courting. I'm not, honestly. Funnily enough, I actually got a photo memory popped up for me of 7 years ago when I first met Lauren, and I'm impressed. I know she's never going to leave me because when she met me, bro, I was big. Did not realize until you see the photos of it. I'm like, man, I was actually quite a chunky boy. If you're watching on the video, you might be able to see. It's a bit hard to see, but
I can see.
yeah.
But you had a winning personality.
Yeah, apparently there was something about me that was just that's what she said, and I'm like, well, it wasn't the body, that's for sure. But yeah, we don't have the energy to. Yeah, that's it. There's some things that you need to prioritize your energy for. Finding a new partner is not one of them. And I'm not saying it's not like, oh, you know, you're just so convenient for me now. It's like, no, you're everything that I ever wanted and needed, and no little thing is going to make me leave you because fuck dating again. Never again.
Not for me anyway.
Yeah,
like I'm content with Liv and I love her and I love my kids. And I was like, the thought of courting and dating again. I was like, man, like it's not in my wheelhouse. But when I'm looking at this, there is emotional stress that you carry from your relationships. There is physical stress, okay, that you carry, could be from work as well for some of us out there. There is the environmental stress, okay, so like all the things that impact you in your current environment. You know, I live in a rural community because the environmental stress of living in Melbourne, I just didn't want it anymore, right? And that's like, so again, like we have environmental stress. We have the stress of what we put in our mouth as well, because food and our liquids are a stress. So if we look at it, if we're at like a 10 out of 10 on all these stresses, we have this huge stress load that we're trying to carry. And if we don't start to dial those back and, you know, okay, well, what can I do to make sure that I have better or less relationship stress? You know, maybe just have some crucial conversations, because we find it like so many people find it so hard. If you don't like something, tell the person. And we have such a, if you're about to have a crucial conversation, we work ourselves up with such anxiety leading up to the conversation. And then 9 times out of 10, probably 19 times out of 20, we have the conversation. We have you have this load off your shoulders, but then you're like, that conversation actually was quite good. It didn't go bad at all. But we're carrying these conversations that have never been had. Right, and this creates this emotional stress, and we're putting this food in our body and this alcohol in our body that creates this 10 out of 10 stress as well. And then our sleep, you know, it's pretty shit. You know, we're looking at our phones and we're, you know, watching 17 Netflix shows. We're getting to bed after the time we should be, so we're getting to bed at like 11 o'clock at night, and we're tired and wired, and then we wake up 3 times throughout the night because we're pissing because we don't eat or drink properly, and then we have like a stress from that as well. So I think, 1, you can eat better. 2, you can have crucial conversations. 3, you can have a better nighttime and morning routine. And we'll get into that exactly today.
Yeah, there's so much that goes into energy, like the size of the meals you're eating. Like me, I've got a little ring that tracks my sleep. So it's not just about the sleep, but it's about the things that go in then before the sleep. It's about how you are throughout the day. Are you getting, you know, enough melatonin so you can sleep well in the evening? Because it's like the sleep is like the finishing. It's like the final 100 meters. It's like, yeah, you can kind of fuck that up, and it's you know, if you do a couple of things where the sleep's not ideal, as long as you do the rest of the race well, you're still going to win. But for most people, they're not doing the rest of the race well. As you said, the food choices are not great. They're overloading on things that are high in sugar, that are spiking their blood sugar, not a lot of fiber, not a lot of protein. So then they crash again. Then they need another pick-me-up. Then they crash again. They need another pick-me-up. And a lot of people, myself included in the past, have been like, I'm low energy. Oh, I need a coffee. No, you don't need a coffee. You haven't eaten well all day. You need a proper fucking meal. You need to sit down and actually prioritize eating something rather than just sitting there going, I need another coffee. It's like 3 p.m. I'm going to have another coffee. That's then going to fuck my sleep up for later on. So there's so many different habits that go into it. Decision fatigue is a big one, as you were talking about a bit before. There's so many things that we do throughout the day that just requires those little decisions that we have to make, just a little thing here and there. And we are overloaded with them, usually because we've got our phones, we've got these little notifications that pop up. Your wife's texting you, oh, honey, can you just remember these 3 things? And you're like, fuck, do I remember these 3 things? Fuck, I forgot one. I got to go back in the shops because I forgot the bread. I got the milk and the eggs, but I forgot the bread. Fuck. Like and I've done that. I've had the list and I've done that so many times as well myself. Right. Same thing with the, kids. If you've got young kids, especially like me, I've got a 4-month-old and a 2.5-year-old. They require a lot of attention. They require a lot of focus. One of them to not kill themselves and the other to not kill themselves in just a different way. One of them's jumping off. One of them's just going to roll over and not get up. So you've just got to be on all the time. And if you don't have good habits to give you energy and to take away from that stress, and you don't have good ways to recharge yourself and get sort of back up, then you, as Trav said, you need more of those battery habits. You need more of those battery behaviors that give you energy. And there's a great quote that you were sharing before the podcast from Brendan Burchard. It's like a power plant doesn't have energy, it generates energy, like it creates energy. And that's the same thing. Our bodies are generators. They are not batteries. They're not just, they don't just have energy and then once the energy is gone, it's gone. No, it's legit like an exercise bike. And it's like one of those ones that generates power. You get on it, you move, and it creates the power. I've seen some smoothie place, I can't remember, somewhere in Asia, where they jump on and they're like, you got to do like 100 calories or you got to pedal to blend your smoothie up. I was like, that's fucking sick. I love that idea. Like you're actually doing something productive, but you generate energy. There's a reason why you're sitting on the couch, you feel exhausted after half an hour. You go for a walk, by the end of it, you start feeling great, right? You feel amazing. Now, obviously, you're working a manual labor job. You do that all day long. It's a bit of a different story, but I had infinitely different levels of energy at the end of a 9-hour day as a surveyor assistant, where I was digging holes and banging in pegs and moving around and all this kind of stuff, versus when I started doing more office-based and inside-based stuff and sitting down, maybe going on my walking pad as a recent addition. But the difference in energy from just being in motion most of the time versus not, and I would constantly go to the gym after my days. I would just, because the gym was right around the corner from my office, and just go, cool, it's there. Whereas like if you're sedentary and you're just like still and stagnant, you haven't got the energy, but it's because you're not generating, you're not creating the energy. Your body will give you what you need from it. And if you say, hey, I need more energy because I am moving, because I'm doing stuff, then it will give it to you. It's the same reason it grows muscle. You are lifting heavy things. Your body goes, we need more muscle fibers to lift this in case he tries this shit again next week. As is in essence what happens. So you need to adapt. You're realizing that your body adapts to what you train it to do. So if the more you're just sitting on the couch and eating, okay, cool, we must be needing rest. Because let's be honest, we're dads. Most of us, if you stay on the couch for long enough, you can just fucking fall asleep. You can just pass out because you're tired. There is an element of, you're going to be tired. But there's a difference for me between being tired and having low energy.
Mate, 100%. I think I routinely on Saturdays and Sundays now, about 2 o'clock, when we don't have something on, I'll go for a run for 5 to 8 Ks at about 2 or 3 o'clock, because it's very easy for me to sit on the couch and just play some Switch with the boys. And then from then, my energy keeps decreasing because I'm sitting down, because I feel tired. But even when I feel tired, I'm like, no, it's like 2 or 3 o'clock. I'm starting to feel tired. And I want to go and train Jackson at 4 before it gets dark. I'll go for a run and I'll come back, and all of a sudden I've got this a huge amounts of energy. Yeah, I've got endorphins kicking in, but I just start moving my body again. And it doesn't matter if I move in the morning. I'll just try and give myself 30 minutes on a Saturday afternoon and a Sunday afternoon, because I'm not moving as much on the weekends. I generally move more during the weekdays, my steps. So you have to look at your day and go, okay, I need to structure my day to optimize energy. And I think with those sort of decision fatigue, we have 1,000 little micro commitments across the day, every single day, from what do you want for breakfast to lunch to, which car park are you parking in, what sign advertisement you scrolling past, what are you liking, what are you responding to, what are you deleting? There's decisions everywhere. To what clothes are you wearing? I don't know. But I think if you can pre-commit to a lot of these decisions, it's like we tell guys with the coaching, right? It's like pre-commit, like you have 2 different choices for breakfast, 2 different choices for lunch. Like have a calendar of what you eat for dinner the 7 days of the week as a family. So you never have the stupid ass conversation with your wife, what do you want for dinner tonight, right? So it's like, all these know when you're going to the gym and what days you're going to the gym and what you're going to do in the gym, right? So you've got all these pre-commitments you don't have to use and get decision fatigue, okay, which is going to mentally exhaust you from all the decisions you shouldn't be making. So pre-commit, and then you don't have to do another daily, because we don't have physical exhaustion, a lot of us these days. It's actual mental exhaustion. And we're just sitting at a desk. It feels exhausting. We drop down in frequency. So we feel like we're in a lower state. And in that low state, it's not just physical tiredness. It's this brain fog from inactivity, and we start making poor choices, okay? Because we go, I need the chocolate to get me up. I need the caffeine. I need the coffee. I need the sugar. I need the energy drink. I need the this. I need the that. We're looking for, again, a quick fix for something that is a habitual problem. So I think if we look at it, guys, a lot of you, it's definitely a mental exhaustion thing rather than a physical exhaustion thing. And we need to move the body to generate the energy to give us the energy we're looking for.
100%, man. It's get your ass moving is the biggest thing. There's a Newton's law of motion, right? An object in motion will stay in motion. An object at rest will stay at rest unless acted on by an outside force. All right, that's taking you back to high school physics. That principle is so true. You sit on the couch, it'll be so much easier to stay on the couch. You need to, that outside force might be your coach messaging you saying, get off your ass and hit your steps. That outside force might be you seeing your kids outside playing and you're sitting down going, fuck, I don't want this to be the memories of their childhood. His dad always just sitting down. And that is the thing that gets you off your ass. So whatever gets you off your ass, that's probably, that's the thing that you need to embrace and to move towards and go, cool, I want to be this kind of dad. So therefore I am going to get my ass in motion. And then the more you do it, the easier it becomes. Yeah, it is initially very difficult. We're not saying it's just easy. Oh, you just get up and go. But if you have your reminders set, and if you have the ability to, whether it's on the lock screen of your phone or what we do with Imi, I'm not saying you guys are all 2.5-year-olds, but it might help, is we've got an Alexa, and when we want her to do something, we're cool. When the timer goes off, we're going to have dinner. When the timer goes off, we're going to have a bath. Alexa, set a timer for 4 minutes, right? Usually it's like 2 minutes because she doesn't know how long time is. Well, set a timer for 10 seconds. Yeah. But you do that for yourself. Okay, cool. All right, I'm going to sit down for 5 minutes and then I'm going to get up. And then the timer goes off and then you've got a break point and an anchor for you to actually get off your ass and do something.
Mate, 100%. Like I just turned my alarm off my phone. It's 2:30 over here. And my watch, and it just vibrates. And I've said this multiple times on the podcast. That's my mental check-in. It happens like 4 times throughout the day, every couple of hours. I mentally check in. Where's my energy? Where's my headspace? Am I being productive and staying on task, right? So I go through a checklist of like questions, and it's just a reminder that I can automatically go through this checklist. And if I'm out of whack on any of them, it reprioritizes. Okay, am I low on energy? Okay, just go 5-minute walk, right? Get your energy back up. Am I, negative headspace? Okay, reframe, look at the positivity, move, do whatever I need to do to flip the switch. So I think, am I on task or am I scrolling my phone, right? So it's like, you can have these conscious reminders to go through this checklist if you need it. And I've been doing this for years. And it's always just a good cue for me. But I think for all of us, we need to consciously look throughout our day at the moment, go, okay, what are our vacuums? What are our batteries? Which vacuums do I need to take away? And then when we look at this next thing, it's like the 3 biggest energy killers for dads are literally the stress overload, the lack of movement, and the poor food choices. So when we're stressed, the cortisol hormone gets released. And if we constantly stress because of all the factors that we talked about before, we're in this fight or flight mode. Okay. If we stay up for too long, we do actually have a cascade of negative hormonal implications. Muscle mass deteriorates, fat increases, and we don't want that at all. We tired and wired, we don't sleep properly. Our body stops burning energy as well as it could. But I think for all of us, all we need to do is we go, okay, I need to understand what is my stress load, and I need to set some time aside. And you might be thinking, I have a lack of time. And it's like, most of the time, people focus on time management when they really should be focusing on energy management. I think that's a big issue, right? It's never time management that's the issue. It's energy management. Because if you're full of energy and you feel fantastic and you're doing a project at work, right? The project happens in like 20 minutes or 30 minutes, right? You can smash through it. When you're low of energy, that same project could take 60 minutes to do because you're brain fog, you're constantly distracted because that's what happens when we're low on energy and we're stressed. So I think what we have to look at is we have to look at our stress load, take some time out, whether it be a Pomodoro or where our brain works in 90-minute meridians. So you actually do need a break every 90 minutes just to sort of reset. But you need to go, okay, where is my stress load? I need to take 5 minutes a day from being inside this sympathetic state, which is constantly in this fight or flight state. So we're wired. We're constantly battling the notifications of emails, from text messages, from phone calls, to co-workers busting in on us, to our wife messaging us, to the kids having to get picked up, and then you're in traffic, and then everything, you're always running late, or whatever the hell's going on. I feel stressed saying all this. So I think when we need 5 minutes, a minimum 5 minutes, and if you can do longer, do 10 minutes. And you should meditate. Meditation is not foo-foo. It is something that's needed. And if you don't want to if you don't know how to meditate, you don't want to listen to some guided meditation, you can do some box breathing, but give yourself 5 to 10 minutes a day. If you can, do it outside. If you can, do it with your bare feet on the grass. It grounds you, which is even better. But just focus on your breath even. Just breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, breathe out for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds. Each breath is 16 seconds long, all right? And this is called box breathing. It will take you 4 breaths to do a minute. Do it for 20 breaths, right? That's going to be 5 breaths, right? 5 minutes, guys. Do it for 40 breaths. I think if we can do this, it shifts us from being constantly in a sympathetic state. It allows us to be in a parasympathetic state. And then we're calm and in control, okay? Rather than tight and wired, we're calm and in control. And this is what we need to happen. All of a sudden, we've sort of released the pressure on that stress overload, which allows us to push forward. And then instead of the lack of movement, we can actually engage in movement.
And then once you've kind of given yourself the ability to calm your cortisol levels, calm your hormones down, and just kind of settle mentally back into a better place. And look, this is something that does take practice and take time. It's not something you're just going to master overnight, but the more you practice it, the better you'll get at it. And then once you get into some form of movement, we recommend starting your day with a walk as best as possible. Usually you start, for me, I don't know, lately I start the day as soon as I hear Emmy go, "Mom, Dad, because that's what we've taught her to do. So she doesn't lie in her cot for like an hour being like, how come you guys didn't come get me? I'm like, I didn't know you were awake. So I wanted to know that we will come get her if she yells out, which she does. So that starts my day. It's like, it's fucking all right, ready to go. Not really ready to go, but ready to go. So the outside of the movement, outside of the the box breathing and the mindfulness and taking time for yourself, then we're looking at your food choices, right? When it comes to your the energy levels. So a lot of people, as we talked about with blood sugar, it's not that carbs are the enemy, because a lot of people think, oh, carbs spike your blood sugar and carbs are the problem. It's not always carbs. It's all about the low fiber, highly processed, high GI carbs with no fat, no protein to slow digestion, nothing else in them that you smash down in a minute because it's just like, oh, off you go. So making sure you're not overloading on high sugar, high GI stuff, especially first thing in the morning, because you tend to get a bit more of an insulin spike and a bit more of a blood sugar spike first thing in the morning because your cortisol is already high. Everything going on is just going, and then 2 hours later, you're going to crash. So focus on including protein in all of your meals as best you can to help sort of combat that. And then try and make sure you've got sort of protein and fiber within what you're doing. So this is like honestly a go-to for fat loss as well. But from an energy level perspective, where am I getting my protein and my fiber from in this meal? Fiber could come from frozen berries in a smoothie. It could come from having if you've got, I've got some eggs. I don't have any veggies to put in. Oh, fuck, I'm just going to have an apple on the side, right? It doesn't all have to be in the one meal, but that'll then give you that extra bit of fiber because you get some protein in the eggs. Whatever you do, make sure you include those. And for me, I feel like a big one for a lot of dads, I don't know if you agree as well, Travis, they often don't actually eat enough. Sometimes, like there are some meals where they don't eat enough, and it might be breakfast, it might be lunch, because a lot of guys are, I have a small lunch, and then I get home and I'm starving and have 3 toasted cheese sandwiches, right? And then I'm fucking bloated, and then my body's digesting, and I then don't go to sleep well because I'm like, oh, and I've got all the, my body's working hard to digest, which affects your sleep. Recommendation is, if you find yourself getting hungry constantly, increase the size of your meals. If you go, all right, I have 3 eggs in the morning, and then 2 hours later I get hungry, so then I have an apple. Then 2 hours later I get hungry, so I have a shake. It's like, have your breakfast as 3 eggs, an apple, and a shake, and go like, oh fuck, now I'm full. And that keeps you going till lunchtime, and that gives you enough energy to keep going, because food is energy, right? Food is a thing that replenishes the internal battery, allows the generator to keep going. You can go without it for a bit, and you obviously use body fat, but that is just one thing to be aware of, is including protein, including fiber, and just making sure that you're not snacking throughout the whole day, because then your energy is constantly just going boop, 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 boop. You want to give it a big spike and then a slow come down.
And I think it's making sure that we do have enough protein. It's like 30 grams of protein minimum at every meal. Every meal should be a minimum of 30 grams of protein. I think that's so crucial.
Not this shit that says like high protein and it's like 10 grams. It's nothing.
It's not, guys. And it's like, oh, I had some cereal and some fruit for breakfast. It's like, no wonder you're hungry at, an hour later. You're just having basically sugar on top of sugar. All right. I think it's like your insulin will go up. It will crash. Your blood sugar levels are highly fluctuating, and then you're going to be hungry. And then you're looking for something as a quick fix mid-morning. So then you have a muffin, it happens again. And then at lunchtime, because now you start craving more sugar, you have something like that. And then mid-afternoon, you're looking for a Mars bar, or you're looking for a Dare iced coffee or something like that. Just huge calories. So it depends on if you're an office worker or if you're, a tradie and you're out and about. Same behaviors take place, but just normally different foods are inside those behaviors. But we want to try and make sure we're having protein-rich and fiber-rich foods. It's so crucial for us to be doing. And then we're not lying on caffeine. It's like, oh my gosh, I need to make sure that I'm having my caffeine so I can stay focused. It's like, no, we need to move more. And I love a Monster. I do love a caffeinated beverage, but I won't have one after midday, right? 9 times out of 10, I won't have one after midday. Caffeine has a half-life of 7 hours. So if you're having a Monster that's 150 milligrams of caffeine at 4 or 5 o'clock, you're still going to have 75 milligrams of caffeine, running through your system at 10 o'clock midnight. And it's like, okay, well, that's why I'm finding it hard to, one, go to sleep or have a proper sleep, because your body is still buzzing. So movement creates energy, not caffeine. Caffeine's fine. And if you don't have your coffee with milk and then 2 sugars and then have your fruit and then have your cereal, just if you want it, just have a black coffee. It's okay. Black coffee is good if it's good coffee. So let's all start moving towards black coffee. A long black or a double espresso is the way to go. Now, training. Okay, training gives you energy. It doesn't take it away, because a lot of people say, oh, I can't train because I don't have the energy to train. It's like, well, training will give you the energy to train. So when we look at it, it boosts our natural energy production. Okay, it increases testosterone, increases dopamine, it gets our endorphins going. So it gives you more energy and more confidence. And I think that's what we want, right? Cardio gives us more blood flow. More blood flow means more oxygen floating around the body. More oxygen floating around the body makes us feel better. Okay, it makes us think clearer. It increases BDNF, so it's a brain-derived neurotropic factor. So actually, you think better on strategic, issues at work. So I think for us, cardio training, strength training is so crucial. And I think there's a 30-30-30 method, which is like, 30 minutes of movement, 30 minutes of sunlight, and 30 grams of protein within 30 minutes of waking up. I think it's a good thing. Like I wake up before the sun, so it doesn't work for me. Yeah. But if you can,
I would add in like, I don't know a measurement for it, but like 100 mils of water. 30,
exactly.
Like 300 mils of water is probably another thing I would add in there too. A lot of people, the first thing they put in their mouth is not, you've made me thirsty now. I think my bottle's in the other room. But water is incredibly important. Water intake is another big slept on one. So you go 30 minutes of movement, 30 minutes of protein, 30 minutes of sunlight, within 30 minutes of waking with 30 times 10 milliliters of water.
Exactly. Well, it's like 1 to 2% dehydration increases brain fog, tiredness, and poor performance. So we don't want to be dehydrated. You want to be having, at least 2 to 3 liters every single day of water, guys. And if you're working outside, you want to bump that up to 3 to 4 liters. So it's like and it's not like you don't have 3 liters of Monster. Okay. So you want to have 3 liters of water if you can, guys. But training gives us energy. We want short, consistent workouts These beat long workouts once a week. You don't have to be 90 minutes in the gym, like 28 minutes, 3 to 4 times a week. Get a bit of movement with lifting weights, lift heavy shit, pick it up, put it down, and then get your blood pumping, okay, as well, right? It's just going to hit all the factors that we want to try and increase our energy. We want to train smarter and not harder, right? Remember, guys, we're dads. We're not, we're not the gym bros 18 to 28 years old anymore. We need to train smarter, not just try and bash ourselves towards the result. Full body movements, full body training sessions if we only can get in 3 times a week, compound movements, that's going to give us the maximum benefit if we are short on time. And we should try and all commit to 2 to 4 workouts like every single week to increase our energy. And remember, like 2% of your day. So you have 98% to do everything else, guys. 2% of your day dedicated to your movement, and that is 28 minutes. It's only 2%, right? 28 minutes, and that will make you have more energy.
It doesn't take much. It doesn't take much, but you gain that muscle mass, you gain that energy, all of the benefits of training. It does take a little while for the first couple. Again, a lot of what we're saying is not the instant quick fixes that a lot of people are chasing. And that's the fucking problem. You're chasing an instant quick fix. You're chasing something. I'm tired, therefore I'm going to have this one thing and that's going to screw the rest of my day, but it's going to make me feel better for the next hour. That's the reason why you're constantly in this flux. So yes, you're going to be a bit sorer. Yeah. If you do a leg day, you're going to struggle to walk for a couple of days afterwards. That's the fun of it, right? You enjoy it, right? You learn to love the pain. But those are the things that over time will give you the energy that you're looking for, and they will give you the, the ultimate benefit of training. It's going to be that extra energy, that extra ability as well with your heart, not to, because there's energy, but it's like, I also don't want to walk up a flight of stairs and be fucking physically tired and physically puffed from that. All right. So 5 minutes on the Stairmaster will humble you if you do that.
Exactly. I was thinking, Jason, I take some pre-workout sometimes, and I'm not against pre-workout, guys. Sometimes I need it, I like it, it makes me just want to train a little bit harder. But I take one called Disorder, and they have one of my guys, there's a next level disorder. It's like Disorder Unlocked or something like that. And I looked at the ingredients, and it's got 450 milligrams of caffeine in a serve, I think. I was like, mate, you're either going to have a great workout or have a heart attack, one of the two. But if you need, I'll actually have a look at the proper math after this. It might not be Disorder Extreme, it might be something else extreme. But it's like 400, I'm pretty sure it's like 450 milligrams caffeine. Guys, if you need that much caffeine to train, we need to fix the other parts of your life, right? Well, because you shouldn't need that much caffeine to train.
100%. But here's the thing about caffeine. Caffeine doesn't give you energy. Caffeine is what they call it's an adenosine blocker. Once you have a saturation of caffeine, more caffeine doesn't actually help. That's why you get fucking jittery after you have your third one. You're like, I don't know why. It's like what it does is it binds to receptors in your brain that your tiredness receptors also bind to. Your tiredness hormones also bind to go, hey, you're tired, you're sleepy. It essentially it just pushes in line in front of them. It's like, oh, hang on, I'm caffeine, I'm here, I'm binding to this one. Then it's like they've got to sit there and wait their turn, which is why you kind of, if you've had a really shit night's sleep and you try to mask it with coffee, it doesn't give you more energy. It's just like, I feel tired behind everything else. I'm able to move around, but it's just kind of sitting back there. So it doesn't actually give you energy. It just blocks the tiredness receptors. And it does that for a long fucking time, at least 10 hours. So you need to make sure that you are timing your caffeine well, but also, knowing, as Charles saying, it's not good. That's like, there are some pre-workouts, some things like beta-alanine, citrulline malate, these things will give you your creatine, these things will give you more energy physically within the gym. A beta-alanine will make you want to rub your face off because it just makes your face tingle, and that's what's in a lot of pre-workouts, but it helps with blood flow, right? And it gives you a bit of energy too. Those are things I would recommend if you're having a later night workout. You can make your own little concoction from them if you just buy the raw ingredients rather than paying like overpriced for pink lemonade flavoring. But it's just something to be aware of with caffeine.
It's called Demented, 400 milligrams of caffeine, Demented. So if everyone wants to feel demented, take that pre-workout. So with this, guys, the last thing I want you to focus on today is like, and this is a big one. It's our nighttime, like everyone talks about morning routines, right? And you'll see them all over Instagram or over your social media. Oh, what's the best morning routine? Shit your asshole to the sun and it will give you photosynthesis or something like that. But the best morning routine is a night routine, right? It's your nighttime routine, because we can't have a great morning routine if you're feeling shit in the morning. You need to make sure you feel good in the morning by having a wind down routine at night. And again, it's less decisions because you have a routine. You have a startup routine. You have a wind down routine. When you get to work, you have a routine. You have a shutdown routine at work as well. Okay. Like all these kind of habit stacking routines is what flows your life, right? I think so many of us just live in chaos. Or, what's the default by design, right? As Jace will always say. I think that's a big thing. Like Jace will always tell us that, you can live your life by default, and living your life by default was probably what gives you a mediocre life. And no one woke up, or no one was born and they were a kid. You know what I want to be when I grow up? Average. That's what I want to be. I want to be average, really average.
I want to be smacked up in the middle.
Yeah. The average person is like, overweight by like 20 kilos. No one as a kid goes, when I grow up, I want to be average. They don't. They have dreams, right? And they want to feel great. And I think for all of us, if we want to live by default, that's going to be average. If you want to live by design and have that, be that person that the younger you would have looked up to and go, yeah, I want to be him. They live their life by design. They design the body they want, the income they want, the life they want, everything they want, right? It's all by design. So I think if you can design your day and design your week, and one of the parts is your nighttime routine, don't have any screens an hour before bed. Put your phone away, right? Unless you're on call unless you're on call, I won't classify any industry. Unless you're on call, you probably don't need your phone next to you. Oh, but I need to look what Jimbo has just posted on social media. No, you fucking don't. Jimbo can wait for you to like his food post till tomorrow. Right? Like just wait till tomorrow. It's 7:30, put your phone away. Or 8 o'clock, put your phone away. You don't need it next to you. Oh, I'm sitting next to my wife sending her reels. Fucking sit next to your wife and look at her. Like, connect with her rather than sending reels to her. Like, actually have a conversation and connect with your partner. Cut caffeine. No caffeine after 2 p.m. Right? No caffeine after 2 p.m. We don't want it there. We want to be sleeping in a cool, dark room. Like, you don't need your TV in your room. Your room is for like 2 things, sleeping and fucking, right? It's not for TV watching or eating. It's like literally 2 things. It's none of these things. You have sex and you sleep. That is the 2 S's of the bedroom. So like we do stuff in the bedroom we just shouldn't be doing. You're like, oh, I feel tired. Because your TV was running until 2 a.m. Right? And you got this like blue light that's sticking at you and you forgot to turn it off. I haven't had a TV in my room at least a decade. It'd be probably much longer, but like you don't need it in there, guys. Like stop looking at your phone, stop looking at your laptop. Go in a cool dark room. Like have some magnesium if you want to have some magnesium before you go to bed. Like I have some magnesium, I have some zinc, I have some vitamin D. Like that's my nighttime sups. I sort of just knock back. It helps me sleep better. One thing I do, and also I sort of deload my brain. If I have anything that I'm thinking about, I just chuck it on a piece of paper and it lets it out of my brain so I don't have to think about it as I'm laying there. When I was having trouble sleeping for a while, I was listening to a nighttime guided meditation. And I've given that to a couple of people and it's helped. But I actually sleep on a grounded sheet now that's like plugged in to the wall. And mate, I've given this to 2 of my clients and they're like, my sleep score, because like Liv's dad got me onto it, actually, to be honest, man. He was looking at his Garmin sleep score. His Garmin was average. His sleep score was average. And he's like, you got to get onto it. And I was like, oh, I've been looking at them. Was it worth it? I think they were $100, a couple $100. I was like, you know what? I'll buy the bullet and I'll do it. My sleep score went straight to great. Like, I was like, what the hell? And I was waking up feeling refreshed. I'm like, look, I was like, is this a placebo? And if it is a placebo, I'll take the placebo. Look, I don't know.
A placebo is good. I'm just curious. I'm like, is it because you're like, all right, I'm focusing on my sleep now. I want to get the most out of it. All right, I want to get my 8 hours. Like, I would love to see all the different, because it's like people make changes when they buy something like that, and they make other changes that then eating carnivore made me gain a bunch of muscle. No, you went on a full fucking overhaul of your life and started training as well that you'd never done before. You were listening to Joe Rogan podcast and doing fucking kettlebell slams and sled pushes and shit. And then carnivore did this. No, you just started acting better.
You did this.
I'm curious though.
I honestly don't know. But I gave it to 2 of the boys, and they've 2 of the guys I train. One of them has an Oura ring and one of them has a Garmin, and like their sleep score went up on the Oura ring as well. I was like, oh, that's interesting. But also they both lost over 20 kilos, so maybe they just don't. They just sleep better. Who knows? But I'm taking it at the moment, and I'll stick with my placebo effect because it feels good for me anyway. But you want to have a nighttime routine. Like after you eat at night, if you can, go for a 10-minute walk. aids in digestion. Like, just go for a walk and it will help with like aid in digestion. You're not going to have a full stomach and then you go to sleep. So you got a bunch of little things. Take this, take this, take this. You know, wear blue blocker glasses if you want, those amber glasses. Like, it's up to you. I do it. You don't have to do it. Be as crazy as you want to be. Don't have to be as crazy as me, right? But I think for anyone out there, you want to have 3 to 4 things in your nighttime routine that sets you up for success. And I think that's a crucial thing.
Yeah, so I'm just reading the website. The connection instantly stops dirty electricity from flowing through your body's cells. When people use phrases like that, it makes me a little bit skeptical. Like, oh, I've got my clean. This is that the filthy, dirty electricity. I don't want. It's like the poor people electricity. No, none of that. We need only the electrons. So it makes me skeptical. But I look. We are creatures of habit. What we do consistently is who we are. So the more consistently you do something beneficial, the more it will become who you are and become part of your life. At the moment with a 4-month-old, the evening routine for us is thrown out a bit, and the morning routine is, hit and miss, but it's often kind of similar. But at the end of the day, for us, it's like, we've got to fucking clean the house, have a shower, brush our teeth, read a book, and go to bed. For us, reading a book is a big one. Like, I can pass out in like 10 pages in, I'm done and I'm ready to sleep because I have slept that way and I have read a book since I was probably like 10, 12 years old. Before bed, I've read every single night. And so it is a sleep anchor. It's the same thing for our kids. If your kid has a, like my daughter has a little Raffy, like a little fawn that's, and she holds it and she cuddles it to sleep every night. She's cuddled it to sleep every night, pretty much her entire life. So that is a big sleep association. She won't sleep without that. So you have sleep associations too. You got to know, well, you've got to prepare yourself mentally, physically, emotionally for bed when you do it. Right? Tell your wife, we got to have a little nookie before bed. That's I
tell Liv all the time. I'm that easy to read. It's like sex. Yeah. I'm like, Liv, sex is my sleep anchor. Jace could see my face. I was like, 100%.
Do you want my Garmin to give me a poor score? I know I've got this. I've got rid of the dirty electricity. Now we need to get dirty on the electricity.
Exactly. I was like, mate, come on. This is what we want. Don't you want me to be productive with my life, Liv? You're holding me back from greatness. I thought you wanted me to be the best
dad I can be. These guys told me I need energy, and I get energy from movement. This is movement, and it's a routine. Oh, fuck, we win.
Right? We win, right? So I think the biggest thing is you could just tell your wife this is what happened, and you have to have a bit of get a bit of action before you go to sleep, and that's part of your anchoring to have a good sleep, guys. But at the end of the day, it is having a nighttime routine. And the more you do it, the easier it will be. Just same as anything. You don't think about brushing your teeth. You just brush your teeth, right? So it's just a habit. And you probably do it at a certain time in the morning. You wake up, you do this, you do that, you brush your teeth, right? Whatever it is. So I think the more you do a habit, the more it gets ingrained subconsciously. So this nighttime routine, you might be thinking, oh, maybe I'll take 1 or 2 of these things and I'll place them in. And in another 30 to 60 days, you place another 1 to 2 things in because all of a sudden you're starting to feel better. Remember, guys, we generate energy, okay? This is the biggest thing. And we're in an energy crisis, okay? Just like South Australia a few years ago, and Elon Musk tried to help him out. But so I think we are currently in an energy crisis of ourselves. And if we don't, no one's coming to save you, right? You got to save yourself with this. So we've given you a lot of information to embark and use this over the next coming weeks, months. And it's not going to be a quick overnight fix. Nothing is. But if you do it for a period of time, you'll definitely have more energy. Movement automatically will give you more energy. 100%. That is a quick fix. So it is, stop eating shit. That is a quick fix. Like, stop grabbing the chocolate bar, stop grabbing the muffin, have protein in your meals. That is a quick fix. Like those 2 things, 100%. Start doing them right now. Stop looking at your phone an hour before bed. Start doing that right now. Start having 5 minutes of like breath work or 10 minutes of breath work a day. That 100%. If I wake up tired and then literally I meditate, I'm not tired anymore. Again, probably a placebo effect. Don't care. I do things, whether it's a placebo or not, I'll do it, right?
If it works and it's a placebo, it's not a fucking placebo.
Exactly, right? I feel so calm after I meditate in the mornings. So I'll wake up an extra 10 minutes early so I can meditate. So it's just how it is for me. But it's like, do some of these things, pick and choose, add them into your life, then add more. And I think that's the biggest thing. And then you'll overcome the energy crisis. But that's it for me for another week of the Fit Dad Club podcast. Jace, you got anything else you want to say?
Just start doing those little things that add up over time. You will feel better. The hardest part is getting started, so just get started. Don't forget to head to fit-dad.club to book in a call with myself or Trav, and you can have a chat with us about where you're at and see if we can help you get to where you want to get to. We've got a special running at the moment for our first 100 foundation members for a new program that we've got going on at the moment. So if you're keen to get in on the ground floor, secure yourself a bit of a discount on coaching and join a big group of dads looking to take back their energy and take back their life, head to fit-dad.club. Leave us a rating or a review on the podcast as well. We'd love to see those. And then if you have any questions or anything you'd love us to cover, shoot us through a DM and we'll be there to support.
Perfect. Thanks, guys. See you next week.
Peace out.